All right, here is the most recent MicroStrategy update video, and it's a doozy. There's a lot of transactions in here, but I think you're going to be excited about what's going on. I'm a little bit excited about it, but I'm going to show you that in a second. But first, some words of wisdom from my good friends McCartney and Lennon. They say, "Here come old flat top. He come grooving up slowly. He got juju eyeball. He won holy roller. He got hair down to his knee. Gotta be a joker. He just do what he please." Good stuff from Lennon and McCartney. Anyway, let's get rocking and rolling. Let's talk about what's happening. And I want to bring you up to date on some history. If you've been watching since November 20th, I know it was a few months ago, 5 months ago now, that's when I started the MicroStrategy trade. And if you look at your screen here, you can see MicroStrategy is right. That's where I did the first trade, right where that line ends, okay? It was right around 477, something like that. And I'm going to go over all the trades really quickly and then give you the summary of the math in a second so you get the idea. But it's pretty cool. But anyway, that's where I started. So you can see the stock went way up for just a day, and then look at that candle right there. It crashed that day. It was horrible, right? It was horrible if you ended up buying it at 543, getting excited about it, because by the end of that day, it was under $400. It was down $140, $150 from its high, and it never saw that again. And so I've been in this trade, okay, from that point. And you can see the arrow. Here's where we are now. It's now down to what, 315, 317, something like that. So I picked it up 477, rode it to 543 for just like a little bit, and then now we've been fighting. Well, I have a strategy called the cash flow machine that have been watching these videos, keeps me in the game. Now, I'm not saying it's perfect, and I'm not saying it's awesome. And I didn't pick the top, and I didn't pick the bottom, and I don't do that. What I try to do is buy good stocks and hang in them for a long time. And this was one that I hanged in for a long time. Now I think it's going up the other side. And I'm going to show you what the math looks like here. So let me start with this. This is the way the positions look right now, okay? On, what do we have? The 18th of April, market's closed. So I'm taking a snapshot of what the position looks like right now. The stock, it says, is 316. It closed at 317 something yesterday. Doesn't really matter. When it shows this, when I took the snapshot, I've got a $178,200 value of the base position, those 175 calls, which I'll show you in a second. And against those, I just sold yesterday, right before market close, an hour or so, 12 of the calls, and those are worth $16,950 if I just got rid of them right now. That's the net liquidation value. So remember these two numbers, $178,200 and $16,950. Now, you ready for the spreadsheet? Here we go. Okay, so here is the spreadsheet on the MicroStrategy trade. Now, up here, I have all of the base positions that I bought. Now, you'll see, I started it doing way out, really long leaps on the 250s that went out to 2027. And then I was like, wow, I'm spending a lot of money on leaps. Let me go ahead and roll that back. So it wasn't more than a day or so that I rolled those down to the, I got 5 and then 2. So I rolled those down, I closed them out, and I went to the 175s, I believe, or no, the 250s for June. Okay, so when I went to the 250s for June, you could see it's a lot cheaper, a lot less capital tied up. And then what I did is then for a little while I had 7, and then I moved those down as the stock started to come down. I moved them to the 175s to be deeper in the money and keep my delta higher. If you've been following me, you know what I mean about delta. So I like to keep my deltas, around 90, right? 0.90, about 90% of what the stock does. So you can see here that and then I've added 1, 2, 3, 4 contracts, right? As the stock has declined per my trading plan, I've added to that position. That allows me to take advantage of it like right now when the position goes back up the other way because I bought them a little cheaper, okay? Now, I've been committed to this stock since November 20th, and today is April 18th. So it's about 5 months, okay? I've been committed to this stock for 5 months. And it hasn't been easy, but you know what? This has been a horrible market. Horrible, right? And this stock has been horrible. I mean, from 543 all the way down to, to 317 where it is today, but it was 217 or 220 or something like that. This has been a tough ride. But selling calls, covered calls against your position can keep you in the game. And that's what I'm demonstrating here. And I'm going to show you how this works out. So all in all, the base position cost is $311,832. You see that right there? That's how much I've got into the base position. Well, it's not worth that today. It's only worth $178,200. Remember how I told you to remember that number? It's worth $178,200. So it's down for sure. And if I had just bought the leaps and just hung in there, even though I added, I'd still be down. The difference between 311 to 178,200. But here is where the beauty of selling covered calls comes in. Because now I've taken all these positions, and I'm going to go over them in a second, and I've made net $158,000 on those positions. So let me go through those positions. I call those my non-base positions. These are my base positions. Okay, I can't do anything about those. The market goes up and down, and those move with the market. Here are my short positions, or my non-base positions. You can see 1120, which was the day I started, I sold deep in the money, the 400s. Now the stock was at like 477. So I sold like $77 deep in the money and I got a ton of juice. Okay. The 77 protected me. I didn't lose a dime all the way down. In fact, if you look at that, when I closed it out just a few days later, I made $71,884 because it came down. Now, my base position also came down too. So I'm not trying to fool myself and say, oh, you did so well, you made 71,000. I know that the base position came down too. That means that I was even, and you know what I got to keep? The juice, which is the time premium, which started high, and then I had to buy it back for what? 40 cents, right? It was below the strike price, so it only cost me 40 cents to buy it back, but I sold it for 104.40. All of that is not profit. That's the way I look at it, because the in-the-money amount protected me, but the base position also came down, and so those came down together. Those netted out, and the profit on the trade for the week was the juice, which if I remember right was like $35 or $40. Crazy. Juice. Okay. I'm not going to go through every trade, trust me. And then I did some puts. I sold some puts on it. They expired. I made a little bit on that. And then I started, just kind of doing my trades. You can see here, 11.29. When I closed this out, I sold to open the, what does it show there? The 400s. Okay. So now the stock had gone down and it was, around 400. I sold them for 25. I bought them back for 9. Profit. The next week, you could see, right when I closed those out, I was rolled them. So I sold them for 18, bought them back for 11. Profit. Then on 12/4, December, 4th, I sold them for 25.65, but the stock went up. Debit. Okay. Now, when it goes up, I'm not worried because my base position goes up too to offset the in the money amount. If you understand that there's two components to a option price, premium, whatever you call it, there's the in the money amount and the out of the money amount. The intrinsic value, which you can't do much about, it goes up and down with the stock. If it's in the money, it's in the money. But the out of the money amount is the juice, the extrinsic value. That's our income. So you got to strip those two things out so you understand what they mean. Because a lot of people are like, you're paying money over the strike price and you're losing money. You're not. Because if a stock goes up over your strike price, you're losing the money over the strike price, if you want to look at a loss. I call it a use of working capital because I'm gaining on the base position. That's why I keep my delta so high. So I get most of the gain on the base position. That makes sense? All right. So then you could see, now this is a long spreadsheet. You could see that I marry all of these sells and subsequent buys together. And over here on the right side, I just go ahead and net them out. Is it a loss? Is it a gain? Because I don't keep track on this spreadsheet what my juice is. My juice is in there, okay? All right, so I keep going, I keep going, I keep going. And then on this last trade, it's not closed yet. I sold it yesterday. I'm going to buy it back next week, but if I bought it back today, it'd be worth $16,950 and I would have made $441,000 from yesterday to today, okay? So I'm netting that out as if I closed the whole account down and I go to the Bahamas or whatever, right? So that's here. All of these profit and loss column in the column are netted right here. So I've got the base position cost, Then I've netted, then I put in the exact value of what it is if I had to sell it right now. I take all of the non-base positions, my short positions, which I'm using the base position to be able to sell the short positions, okay? I'm not trying to make a killing on the base position. I don't know if the stock's going to go up or down. Again, I always say this, I'm not Nostradamus. I'm not trying to predict it. And there's a lot of people that say, well, Mark, you know, MicroStrategy is a great company, so why don't you just sell out of the money? Or why don't you just not sell covered calls? Because it's going to go up. Those people have been saying that. Maybe you're one of them. You've been saying it for 3, 4, 5 months. And the stock has done not a lot but go down, mostly gone down. It's recovering now, I think. And now is when I really get to make the money, if I'm right. If this stock goes up and it keeps going over my strike price, you're going to see this spreadsheet next month be like, holy moly, he's really up. All right, so we've got the 311 that I paid for the base. I've got the base position market value right here. And then I've got the total profit and loss on the non-base position. Same number as that. I've just put it in this little summary area. I call this the walk-away value. If I had to walk away right now and sold everything and went to cash, I would have made $25,000 on this position. Okay, now you remember maybe the last math update, I wasn't up that much. I was up a little bit, but the stock was still down. Now the stock is recovering. So you want your stock to be moving in the direction of bullishness. And I think this stock is kind of bucking the trend right now because the market's still kind of going down. I may be wrong. We'll see. But to make $25,000 on a stock that hit 543, but I started at 477 and rode it all the way down to 200, to be able to stay in that and not be down 40% or 30%, but to actually be up about 10% on the amount that I had invested, I think that's pretty good. That's $5,000 a month. That's 2% a month. Now, I tell people my system targets 2 to 4% a month. And that's, you know, targeting in a good market. And we exceed that a lot of times. But in a bad market, to be able to make 2% a month, like, come on. You know, I continue to make these videos for you because I kind of like doing them and I like teaching people and I like when their eyes go, oh my God, I get it now. Because a lot of people just don't get it. A lot of people are like, this, you're losing money when it goes over your strike price. And if you do the math, you're not. And look, it's not as much money as I thought I was going to make. All those videos that I put out that told you that I was making money, that just kept me in the game, right? That kept me in the game. If I hadn't have made that money, I'd be down huge right now. These are synthetic positions. They're leveraged. So I'd be down, I don't know, 50, 60% on these things. But instead, and I am down 50, 60% if you look at it, right? 311, it's not my bit, it's 40%. 311 down to 178. That's down. But instead I'm up. Do you guys get this? This selling covered calls thing, you're not going to get the big gain. If MicroStrategy goes to $600 next week, I'm not getting that. But you know what? I'm also not getting the 40% loss that I would have had in the account. Or if I'd have just bought the MicroStrategy and held it, I'd be down 30%. Like, this keeps you in the game. So what do you give up? You give up the huge upsides, which happen sometimes, and they certainly happened in MicroStrategy last year. They're not happening now. You give that up. But to give that up, you get weekly income. Look at all these weeks where I show you that I've got income, and most of them are green, right? There's some red ones for sure because the stock goes up and you got to buy it back at a higher price, but you get the juice, and the juice keeps you in the game. Do you get it? So that's the summary video. I'm trying to do one a month. Okay, I think I'm pretty much on track. I did one, at the kind of third week of March, and now I'm doing one here in the third week of April. And I still have accrued this last position here. I think I'm going to make $12,000 in juice on it. So if the stock just kind of stays where it is, you can add $12,000 to that. If it goes down, it's a stock market, right? But next week it'll be 37, and the week after that maybe 49, 50. At this point, if the stock does what I think it's going to do, this is going to be worth the wait. To me, it's already been worth the wait. It's been a lot of trades, and some of you might go, "Oh, that's a lot of work to make $25,000." But I don't know. I like $25,000 in green rather than $25,000 in the red. All right. I hope that cleared some things up for you. Sometimes people need to see the spreadsheet, and sometimes they don't. I don't like putting these spreadsheets together because it's a lot of work to kind of pair everything off. But it does kind of paint the picture for a lot of really detailed people, and it shows you, look, You know, we started out doing the 400s and then the 375s. Look at it going down, 400, 330, 315, 307. And then we got down into the 290s, right? We've been doing this all the way down. And now we're going to be doing it all the way up. And it works really well when things are going up. Let me ask you something. Are you tired of losing money in the stock market? Are you tired of watching your portfolio go nowhere while the markets swing up and down? Or maybe you handed your hard-earned money to a financial advisor, hoping they'd help you grow it, only to be disappointed by high fees and underwhelming returns? I get it. I've seen it all. And that's exactly why I created the Cash Flow Machine Elite course, to put the power back in your hands. This isn't just a theory. This is real, in-depth training on how to generate consistent weekly income from your existing portfolio using covered calls, just like the ones you see in my videos, but at a whole other level. Every week, you could be generating hundreds or even thousands of dollars in premium income, enough to easily pay for this course in a matter of weeks. And more importantly, enough to build a life where your money works for you and not the other way around. Let's be clear, this course isn't for everyone. It's not for people looking to get lucky. But if you got a decent sized portfolio and you're ready to stop hoping and start earning, then you owe it to yourself to invest in the knowledge that can change everything. The Elite course is now open. The results speak for themselves. Click on the link below and let's build your cash flow machine together. Hey, it's Mark Yagi, and if you haven't subscribed to this channel, please do that right now. That would be a great favor to me, and plus it helps me get this material out to a lot of other people that might need it. I've got a little bit of a movement going on here, and I want to try to change the world one person at a time, showing them that you can make safe, reliable income from the stock market. And plus it helps to grow the channel a little bit. Also, if you would give me a thumbs up on the video and like it, great. If you don't like it, give me a thumbs down, that's cool. But just tell me why you don't like it so I can get better. And then hit the notification bell so you can get these videos as soon as they come out, because a lot of times this is timely information and you want to get that information before it gets stale. The last thing is to join my free Insider Tips newsletter. There's a link below and you get everything in one spot. You get breaking news and analysis also. So that would be great if you could do that too. See you soon.